A few weeks ago, we saw how the universe might end. The Big Crunch. Today we are going to see another possibility postulated by scientists after years of research. The Big Freeze. Hello all and welcome back to our channel, The Actuality. For those of you who are new, make sure you visit our channel and other social media platforms. For our previous viewers, welcome back to another amazing video. The Big Crunch told us that the universe will continuously expand and reach a point where all of it reverses the expansion direction and finally collapses into a singularity. But what about the Big Freeze, you might ask? Well, the Big Freeze, as the name suggests, is another such hypothetical scenario where the universe will ultimately cease to produce any heat. Well, I am sorry if scientists watching this feel this is not true. I just wanted to simplify things for our viewers. After a time when the energy that the universe was given expires, the particles or bodies of heavy masses will be pushed so far away from each other that there will be no heat felt at all. That is why I said in the beginning that the universe will ultimately stop producing heat. To simplify this even further, let us take the example of a hand grenade. As soon as it explodes, the particles are thrown a dozen meters in all the directions. That is exactly what happened during the Big Bang. The explosion of the hand grenade was the Big Bang. The particles being thrown all around is the energy given to photons and other matter in this universe to travel as far as they possibly can. Just like in the case of a hand grenade, the particles use up the energy given to them at some point. They are not capable of traveling without any energy supply. Therefore, they will start decelerating. They will slow down in their speed and ultimately come to a rest. Our viewers already know that our universe is expanding at the speed of light. By the time you finish watching this video, our universe expands in all directions by at least a few 100 trillion kilometers. That being said, when all the particles come to rest, there is a very high probability that they might be so far from each other to produce any gravitational effect at all. Don't worry, that is not going to happen anytime soon. It is estimated that at least a few 100 trillion years have to go by before the Big Freeze can even happen. If it ever happens, you and I will be long gone by then. Anyways, I feel obliged to tell you that the Big Freeze has been divided into stages or eras or complex scenarios building up on each other that ultimately lead to the Big Freeze or anything as such. It can be however you name it to be. But for now, let's stick to the word eras. The end of Stelliferous Era. Just a couple trillion years from now, the universe will have expanded so much that no distant galaxies will be visible from our own Milky Way, which will have long since merged with its neighbors, probably because this is just a prediction. A lot can happen between now and a few trillion years from now. Eventually, 100 trillion years from now, all star formation will cease, ending the Stelliferous Era that's been running since not long after our universe first formed. The Degenerate Era. Much later, in the so-called Degenerate Era, galaxies will be gone, too. Stellar remnants will fall apart. If you don't know what stellar means, here is the definition from the Oxford Dictionary. And all remaining matter will be locked up inside black holes. The Black Hole Era. In fact, black holes will be the last surviving sentinels of the universe as we know it. In the Black Hole Era, they'll be the only normal matter left. But eventually, even these titans will disappear, too. I emphasize the word titans to depict that these black holes will be enormous in dimensions because they have been consuming matter for so long. These are scientifically termed as supermassive black holes. The Dark Era. This might be the final era of the universe. Stephen Hawking predicted that black holes slowly evaporate by releasing their particles into the universe. First, the smaller, solar mass black holes will vanish. And by a Google years into the future, a 1 followed by 100 zeros, Hawking radiation will have killed off even the supermassive black holes. No normal matter will remain in this final dark era of the universe, which will last far longer than everything that came before it. And the second law of thermodynamics tells us that in this time frame, all energy will ultimately be evenly distributed. The cosmos will settle at its final resting temperature, just above absolute zero, the coldest temperature possible. That is why this whole thing is named the Big Freeze. If this future seems dark and depressing, Take comfort in knowing that every Earthling will have died long before we have to worry about it. In fact, on this timescale of trillions of years, even the existence of our entire species registers as but a brief ray of sunlight before an infinite winter of darkness. Oh my god, even I sound depressing now, don't I? Well, I think this might be a good time for me to sign off before I say anything even colder and depressing. Stay tuned for our next video, how the universe will end. The Big Rip. Thanks for watching.